Welcome to episode 4 of my Thailand video diary. In this episode, you'll see how Sana and I explored Chiang Mai and plenty of waterfalls. The ride in the bus to Bangkok was surprisingly fast and comfortable. We met Sana's friends from Satoon that came to work at the airport in Bangkok for a while. We talked about our next destination. It was time to tackle an area where I haven't been before, the north. It was still smoky season and the air quality was bad, but somehow we had to experience it for ourselves. We took a sleeping train going to Chiang Mai and arrived in the morning. We rented a bike at the train station and drove through the cubic city outline. Chiang Mai really has some beautiful temples. I convinced Sana to go hiking to another one the next day. We parked our bike at the foot of a mountain and started to walk with our backpacks. We arrived at the first temple when it softly began to rain. Suddenly, it transformed to a storm that lasted for around 20 minutes. Meanwhile, we sat together with a bunch of strangers under a pavilion. Eventually, the rain stopped, but the river was flooded. We climbed over a fence and continued to walk on the side of the street. Then there was another steep path we followed, with some beautiful trees and an insect that sounded like a football referee angrily whistling.
I think I see it. I think it's just sitting right here. Chai. So small but so loud.
After a while, we reached the road again and found ourselves at another temple with a few shops and houses. It was already 1 hour until sunset and the camping spot I had marked on Google Maps was too far to walk. It was time to try something I had never tried before. Hitchhiking. We just waited for 1 minute and a nice Thai family gave us a ride on the back of their pickup to the small town called Doi Pui. It wasn't the camping spot I had marked, but when we walked around, we saw some children playing and there was a family that offered us to place our tent on top of a flat balcony-like roof. Everything felt just right. Since we were up 1,300 meters, it was the first time in Thailand that it was possible for me to take a cold shower. But because of the heavy rain earlier, there was no electricity, so we had dinner in the dark with some headlamps together with the host and her 2 small kids. The next day, we visited more of the neat little village, including a nice flower garden with a small waterfall running by, and a giant staircase that led us to some nice buildings. Then we went to the market with lots of souvenirs and restaurants. In one of them, we ate the famous northern dish called khao soi. Later, we hitchhiked back to the temple and walked back where we parked our bike. Then, we drove around the mountain to the camping spot we wanted to go the day before. Sadly, we found out that it had been closed because of the unsafe weather conditions. Instead, we drove to a different camping site that allowed us to stay there, even though we arrived after the closing time. The staff was very friendly. The next morning we enjoyed the 2 nice waterfalls that were very close to the campground. Then in the afternoon we took a small bus to a village from where we rented a bike to drive to Doi Inthanon, the tallest mountain of Thailand, with an altitude of 2,560 meters. While driving up the mountain, my throat felt a little irritated, which clearly was caused by the bad air quality. It really smelled and even tasted like smoke. But I completely forgot about all that when I saw the first tremendously big waterfall. We prepared our tent at another campsite and woke up early from the cold night to watch the sunrise on the summit. We were quite late already and the motorbike was too weak for the steep mountain, so partially we drove up with only 20 km per hour. By the way, if you ever want to see the sunrise on the highest mountain in Thailand, don't go to the summit. There is no good viewpoint. I could barely see it through some trees. Instead, watch it at a road a few kilometers below. Further down, there's a beautiful temple area worth visiting as well. With the rise of the sun, the temperatures began to increase as well, so we went hunting for refreshing waterfalls. Taking a bath inside them gave me a lot of energy and made me super happy. One time, we took a wrong turn which led us to a small viewpoint where we could witness the drought of the smoky season. We returned to the jungle and explored more waterfalls. It is amazing how many beautiful waterfalls there are close to each other. We thought about staying one more night, but we decided to drive back the same day to catch a bus going back to Chiang Mai. Pai and Chiang Rai were still on my list, but we agreed to leave earlier because of the heat and air pollution. So, after enjoying one more khao soi and one more night in Chiang Mai, we took the next sleeping train back to Bangkok again. We arrived early in the morning and stayed a few days in the giant city. We visited some more famous temples. And made our way through the busy streets to a nice park in Asok, where we could see the shimmering clouds from the sunset. We stayed 2 more nights at the apartment of a friend right at the border of Bangkok. Then we took a bus to Chaya, the town in Suratthani where I was teaching English for 11 months, visiting my old school, former colleagues and the new AFS volunteer from Germany. Being part of the morning ceremony at 8 AM was a nostalgic experience. I listened to the group of students who played the national anthem and talked with some of the teachers. Then after class I played takraw with 2 students and badminton with my friends Pini and Pime. In the evening, we took a nice relaxing bath inside of the local hot spring. It brought back good old memories of the time where these activities were part of my daily life for several months. It was heartwarming to visit the house of one of the older teachers who was very happy to see me again. Then in the afternoon, my former supervisor drove us to Suratani, and from there we took a night boat going to Koh Tao. In the next episode, you'll see how we spent a few days on this beautiful island and travel to Malaysia again, this time further down to Penang and Kuala Lumpur. See you and thanks for watching.